Bucks fans, this is your wildcard weekend post-game show. Let's hit that shit. Wow. What? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. Oh. Bucks fans, this is the wildcard weekend Bucks winning post-game show, and I'm joined here by old Salty Buck Salty Buck, Jeremy Morrow. Welcome to the show. I think it's the first time you've been on my post-game show. But you've definitely been on shows with us before.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing really good today. How about yourself?
Wow, what a day you have! Like Ric Flair in the building. You got all these celebrities here, and I've never seen the Philadelphia Eagles look so dejected that like they were still in the game and they were like looking at the floor.
Absolutely. I mean, we're talking about a team that we all know. We chronicled the whole falling apart here in the last 6 games that they had during the regular season, but still, this is a team that won 11 games.
It's still a loaded roster.
Yeah, and was in the playoffs last year. They have no excuse. Whether you're down a receiver or not, or your coaching changes and things of that nature, there's no excuse for that collapse at the end of the regular season and then a complete beatdown today.
Yeah, and it's not only that. Like, when I look at this, I'm like, this Buccaneers team couldn't get 11 wins, right? We couldn't get, but nowhere in our games were we embarrassed like that.
Absolutely.
Not one game. Even our game against them was 14 points, right? We crippled them, and there was points on the table that the Buccaneers didn't take. They went for it on 4th down when they didn't need to. They could have kicked the field goal and add another 3 on top, a 3-piece on top, and we were like a 3-piece. But wow, people were messaging me going, "I think you guys got this," and I'm like, "Oh, we ain't got nothing until we won it. We ain't got nothing." And then the score started. They scored. I'm like, "Yeah, this is why I say we ain't won anything until we've won it." And then the game started to peel away a little bit more, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is on like Donkey Kong." And the insane part is that this is probably one of the best post-game performances by a QB for us, and that QB's hurting, and we've got a rookie play caller.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, look, this was probably the most complete game on both sides of the ball. Canellis was very smart. You could see the game planning off the second drive. They chose to have the ball first. They started with pass-heavy offense. Then the idea was to bury the Eagles quickly to prevent them from being able to use that run game to grind down the defense, to get their offense moving.
And for some reason, they decided that'd be a great idea to go against what worked against us last time and throw the ball on a team that's missing its star wide receiver with a guy who's got a banged up finger. I mean, I'm not saying I don't know how bad his finger actually is, but, you've had a finger dislocation and you're missing your star wide receiver. Throwing the ball is probably not the smartest move at this point. Establish the run, dink and donk a few passes, but it just wasn't there for him.
It was definitely counterintuitive, but to Canales' intellect and football acumen, this is the first time I've actually seen him put together a game plan that was specific to cutting down the strong points of the opposing team's defense, bleeding over into the opposing team's offense.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a real good coached game by both sides of the football. It did look at one point when they started to climb back in that we were going to have to figure a few things out, and I think we did that because the defense. It looked at one point I was there looking again when I think it was like 9-18 or something like that. I can't remember the exact score. I remember sat there thinking, this is going to be a game where the defense is just going to have to grind it out, and then lo and behold, a touchdown comes in. I'm like, okay, and let's see what they got. I felt refereeing was pretty fair. We had a few that went against us. They had a few that went against them. fact, the referee's a little bit, I would say, a little bit in our favor for some bizarre reason. It kind of felt like that to me. I don't know if that was the same thing with you, but it did feel that they called a very even game. If I'd go with the announcing, it sounded like they really wanted the Eagles to win, and they were like, "Oh, they're not far away; they're still in it." And then the game started to get further and further out of sight. And when a team's out of sight, that's when they start bigging up the team that they really start to go to town on how good the team that's winning is. Yeah. But it took them till about the fourth quarter to really kind of go on about how good we were, because they were still going, "Wow, this team can still hang about." It's kind of like when we played in the Super Bowl. They were like, "You never know when Patrick Mahomes is going to step up and bring this game back," and it wasn't until late fourth quarter they're like, "Yeah, they're fucking done."
No, I agree. I'm never one to point the fingers at the refs. I like to go back and identify the problems that we had. And so, if you go back to the first two drives, you're talking about, drop passes.
Cade Otton, what should have been a touchdown, he got tackled before as he was going to catch a ball. In my opinion, that's textbook.
But he still had both hands on the ball. He wasn't disrupted enough that he shouldn't have caught it. He should have caught that ball.
For sure. I think he should have caught that ball, but at the end of the day, there should have been a flag on that. Because in my opinion, the ball is in the air. You've basically knocked a guy on his. You're trying to knock someone. You're tackling a guy before he's got the ball in his hands. But I understand that the game is so damn quick.
Yes.
And the difference between the ball being mid-flight, where they were on the field, to the ball being in his hands, to the referee seeing it. We see it in slow motion, yeah. Slow motion will make a pass look like it can be a whole 3 seconds long, when in real fact it's half a second or what have you. So,
yeah, I was more upset.
You got to go with the grain.
Yeah, I was more upset that he didn't catch it instead of the call. But the other things too, right? Second drive, we saw White and Baker with the miscommunication. Not sure who screwed up, but Baker turned the opposite direction that White ran. Yeah. Those small things, you clean those things up, and this offense is clicking. You eliminate those drops, and this offense could have easily hung 50 points on the board.
I 100% agree. 100% agree.
If they can do that,
play this team down.
Oh yeah, if they can do that before next week, we'll be golden. And then, I've been hard on Bowles all season. I hate Bowles' third down defensive call plays, sending in as many through the gap as possible, and then dropping coverage past the line to gain.
It worked today.
He didn't do that today. He still sent the house. But he very much had them lined up.
He's more aggressive this game than he's ever been in a long while.
Mm-hmm. But he didn't have the corners and the safeties backpedaling past the line of the game.
There was coverage. There was what AJ, my co-host, called cushion coverage, but it wasn't exclusive. And it's a road. You can't as a defensive mind myself. I've always sat there and tried to understand what the benefits is. And then I don't know if you know this, but I'm currently applying for the Buccaneers Coaching Academy.
Oh, nice. I hope you get that. That would be awesome.
That would be freaking
we can come see you in Tampa.
That would be cool. So I passed the first assessment.
Mm-hmm.
And the next part of the assessment was to diagnose, they'll send you a video interview. Did the video interview, and then they basically have you give your video response of one play from multiple different angles. What was good? What was bad? What would you do? How would you fix this? How would you fix that? What are the coaching points and stuff like that? And at the end of it, it was one of those positions where I think it was Colton Davis was 8 yards off the line of scrimmage. It goes for a touchdown. And I tell you what, it took me a few rolls of that play to find out what defense they were running, and I think that's why they do it. It also allows you to play more aggressive on screens. Yes. Because you're going to see the ball being thrown, so you can just play straight down on it. Whereas if you were in a traditional, what I would call a 6 to 7, which is what you normally should be, which is where I like my corners, you're backpedaling, so which means you have to stop and then come downhill. Whereas you see that ball thrown, you're coming straight downhill. So you're
trying to keep the play in front of themselves instead of losing grasp of the entire situation by having them too far on the line of scrimmage while they send everybody in through the the A and the B gap. There are points of times where this season, we're sitting at against an opponent who's sitting at 3rd and 5 or longer, and they're initially lined up past the line of gain, then they backpedal further. And a lot of times we weren't getting the pressure there to disrupt the quarterback. Now, Yaya wasn't in there in that first half or first, few games of the season. And he's come along a long way. I think that's kind of changed the ability for them to get to the quarterback before the quarterback can get the ball off with the timing.
He's so much power, and he has this ability to fold inside. He doesn't go around. He folds in. It's almost like he pushes his body to give you I imagine when they're tangled up and he's pushing forward, he has this ability to put a foot in the ground and scrape back over into the inside, and he does that so well because he's not the kind of guy who just goes around and behind the guy like a JTS. He always goes up and in. I just hope I'm hoping that he develops a counterpunch to that, because I think once that gets figured out, that could be an issue.
I think he has a great understanding of how to use leverage, especially once the offensive linemen have both hands inside on his body. He understands what leverage, how to shift his weight from a higher position to a lower position and allow the strength of the offensive lineman get used against the offensive lineman.
That's it. You've got to feel. It's a feel thing. And it's not something you can just see. It's something you got to feel. You got to feel those hands and where they are, that placement, and then understand that you've got to peel back and come back inside. And they can't reestablish their hands over here. They're already over here. Yeah. So if you can really push the arms this side, you can reestablish, you're automatically going back in, and it's going to help. But it's an instinct thing that I think he's developed really, really well.
He's only a rookie.
And he's only a rookie. And that's it. This Buccaneer draft class rookie class has just been phenomenal for us. I mean, we're relying on guys who are day 2 picks. We're relying on guys who are undrafted. We just had a touchdown from our 6th round pick. Just absolutely insane on what our front office can do now.
Jason's done a phenomenal job. I
think the thing what people see is they look at the bad drafts and they go, well, that's really bad. And I've always challenged people on this. And I always say to them, okay, you go and find me the best run football team, in your opinion, and go look at from the moment we had, we had him since 2014, right? Jason Light. So you go and check a guy who's been here in their team from 2014 and take a good sample size of a good 5 years. They have bad years. Everyone has bad drafts, and it's so difficult because I wouldn't say the draft's like a lottery, because it's an educated guess, right? It's not a guess. It's an educated guess used on the information that you have from the visual stimuli that been playing the game, interviews, watching their workouts, etc., 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 and you build like this draft profile, I suppose, that this guy is the kind of guy we want in our football team because he'll fit.
The variables are pretty hard to overcome, and I think what some fans don't realize is that coaching plays a huge role. You can have a guy who's definitely a first-round talent, but he understood the coaching that he was receiving in college. That coach was able to communicate to him properly. You may not find yourself with a coach who can communicate with the first-round talent as well as his coach did in college, and then you find them, falling off the roster, falling back.
It's so much more different as well. I mean, you're going in from a college scheme to the college scheme is so much more lighter than a NFL scheme. You're expected to know a lot more information and understand a lot more information. And some people, and a lot of these guys, and this is the crazy part, is a lot of these guys aren't great at watching film. Some of them are just stud athletes, and they're so stud athletes that they're still able to make plays.
Too many players rely on their physical attributes as opposed to their mental attributes. It's the ones who start with the physical attributes and have some mental attributes and then can amplify their mental attributes. That's why you get players with long careers. That's why a J.J. Watt lasts as long as he does in this league, because at some point in time, his strength is at par with the offensive lineman he's going against, but he has the football acumen and the knowledge that he's gained to be able to use that knowledge against the offensive lineman and make up for any physical attributes that they've lost over multiple years.
Exactly. And then it's establishing that dominance and then building with your, like you said, your football acumen, your football IQ, and just building on that. But what a game we had today. I'm just going to reel off a couple of the stats. So let's just look out how our Tampa Bay Buccaneers did today. I mean, I was just shocked and like, I didn't expect this. I think I had 23 to 20. I had 24-17 on my radar. How wrong it was, and I do believe my co-host AJ Turner was probably the closest. He had the route. He had Yaya with 2 sacks. So Baker Mayfield goes for 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, no INTs, which is what you want. Rashad White goes for 72 yards. The game was dominant. Cade Otton felt like he got. I thought he had like a $150 by the way he was catching the ball, but he only goes for 89 yards, which is absolutely stellar for him. So they're the leaders.
I think he set the record for the amount of receptions for a tight end for Buccaneers in postseason history.
That's awesome. That's freaking. I've got a lot of love for Cade Otton. I just feel like he's been underutilized this year.
Absolutely.
I think that he has so much more to give. And on top of that, David Moore goes and gets himself snags 66 yards for a touchdown. Trey Palmer 1, and we all know what that one did. Chris Godwin goes for 45 for a touchdown, just to ice the game off and say that's it, done. You are out of here. Take off your tape. Get the fuck out of my house. And the Buccaneers did the one thing. They've retired the vet, and now they retired a vet.
Yeah, Kelsey
was very red-eyed and very teary-eyed, and they made more. To be honest, I was like, they're making way more fuss than this should fucking be, to be honest. They lost the fucking game. I don't give a shit about him. And nothing against him. I actually think he's a great center, and I think I love his podcast. But at the end of the day, it should be all about us, not about this guy who might retire.
Yeah.
He's not Tom Brady's stature, so let's go there.
One of the hidden stats that I like from this game compared to all the games this season is you go back and look at the play-by-play and look how many drives the Eagles had that were 7 plays or less. We were a bend-don't-break defense coming into the postseason with a lot of drives, with the exception of the Carolina game, that were, 10, 11 plays, and we were holding them at the red zone. This game, it took them an entire half almost to even to have a play on our side of the field. Yeah, that's a phenomenal step in the right direction. Even if they were missing, one of their best receivers, they still had plenty of potency on their offensive side. Yeah. But to have that many drives that were 7 plays or less on defense was a phenomenal improvement. And I've been giving Todd Bowles a hard time the entire season, especially on third down situations. And today he made me eat crow, and I would happily eat it with that win for sure.
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing. This defense has done enough to be in the conversations in pretty much every single game. Mm-hmm. And I said today to one of my friends who's a Saints fan said to me, are you really proud? Because I sent him a picture of me holding a glass of champagne like that with a big smug grin on my face. And he's like, are you really proud that you won our shitty division? I was like, well, we'll see next week, won't we? I can't wait to send him I mean, I don't have any champagne, but I can't wait to send him another go. Well, we won a playoff game, so it was worth it. You'll expect as a winner of your division, you are expected to win a playoff game. That's the minimum expectation of a fan.
And the whole you play in a bad division, you're proud that you won a bad division and went to playoffs? Hell yes. We want the playoffs. We want a Super Bowl every year. That should be the expectation. If you go back and ask the Seattle Seahawks if they felt good going to the playoffs with a losing record, the answer is hell yes. They went to the playoffs.
Yep. Anyone, I think you've got to experience it. And I think it's banter between us because that gentleman's the head coach of my football team. So we just have that general banter with each other, right? So I'm a Florida State fan. He's a Miami fan. I'm a Bucks fan. He's a Saints fan. So there's that kind of constant back and forth, and I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this year because both sides, we got the better side of everything. So last night he was like, "Oh wow, you You guys went undefeated and you didn't even get in the big game. And I'm like, what? We won our conference. We went undefeated. We lost a shit ton of players and lost our bowl game. You guys haven't won a bowl game since 2015. You guys haven't won a national championship since 2001. You guys haven't. And I said, see, the key things here is FSU have done it more recently, so we can get to be a bit more braggy right now. We can do that. But all's fair in love and war. But I can't wait to go to practice next weekend with a big Cheshire Cat grin on my face and be like, not so bad now. We just took out an Eagles team that was the NFC champions, and it's not like a lot of people thought the expectation of that team was to go to another Super Bowl.
Absolutely,
and we just derailed that. Now we know that they were going through a patch where they were very, very poor, very, very poor. But at the end of the day, a wounded animal is still a dangerous animal.
Mm-hmm.
And you still have to win. This is the team that people mocked us for winning a 9-3, winning a game 9-3 against one of the worst teams in football.
Yeah,
we were mocked for it.
Yep.
You scraped into the playoffs against a shitty team and blah blah blah. And AJ made a really interesting point. I don't know if you would agree with this. I didn't at the time, but it's kind of got my cogs working a little bit. Do you think they just held back a little bit in that game and not to give too much away and just played a little bit more vanilla so they could just get to this game and be a bit more prepared?
So I kind of agree with AJ on this. I saw Canales in his bag a lot more today than he has been all season.
Even the best game I've seen is probably the Jaguars game and the Green Bay game. They were probably the best games he's coached. This is the best game he's coached.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I'm in with AJ for the whole stop the cushion BS on 3rd and long. But this I kind of feel like Canales. I don't want to say he was holding back. I want to say he was trying to build a baseline for the offense. That way, when he got to a playoff, if you're strong with your baseline, we call it brilliance in the basics, right? If you're brilliant in your basics,
that fundamentally sounds right.
Yeah, you can take risks and find yourself, digging deep into your playbook and doing things that people haven't seen. And some people will say that, well, he was holding back. Well, not necessarily holding back. You have to prep your team and be good.
There's stuff for that I was very excited about from a play calling point of view. I was like, where was this all season?
Yes.
And it's almost like, played his cards close to the vest and decided to come out. Look, you just got to be in the dance to be in it. And here's a thing that could go down for the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers now go against the Lions.
Yes.
Right? That's a foregone conclusion. What happens if the Buccaneers were to win that game and they go against, let's say, I'm gonna go give it to the Niners because I should. This is almost like a revenge tour from the regular season, right?
That's what I said earlier. This is a revenge tour if they can pull together these wins. They're going to go against now a second team they lost to during the regular season.
Exactly, and there's atonement that needs to be made.
Yes.
So, Jeremy, I'm enjoying what we've got going on so far, but I'm going to make it a threesome. I'm going to bring in my guy, Rick Hughes.
Yes.
From BUCS Live. The man, the myth, the legend, the man who's been calling a few of these things. Rick Hughes, how do you feel?
I'm sorry. What? I fell asleep. What happened? Did I miss something?
BUCS win, and BUCS win.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Oh my!
That gentleman who was in the comment section on our last show, the pre-game show, who said the Buccaneers don't score a knockout punch first, they are done. And I was like, no, they just have to make sure they do their job on defense. And it took a little bit going, but then once we got moving, the things were going well. But Rick, a couple of things that you said came into fruition.
Number 3 receiver.
Whoever
I said that was the one thing, as I said, our number 3 receiver, I think that happened. Now, I did say I had no idea. I don't want to act like I knew this was coming. I did not.
We're making predictions at this point, yeah. A feeling that we've got. So I was big on K. Dotton. That kind of paid for me. So
yeah, I did. I actually did not get that. I did not say K. Dotton. I said our number 3 receiver and Chris Godwin. I did say that those two would have a big game.
Chris Godwin had a good game too. I mean, he got one of the touchdowns, and so did Trey Palmer. So, technically, K. Dotton didn't get any touchdowns, but he helped get that ball up the field.
Every receiver other than, every Buccaneer other than Mike Evans had a good game.
Evans wasn't awful. He just wasn't. He just wasn't that good.
He was.
Well, I also don't think he was targeted that much, and then those 2 key drops were
pretty awful.
But,
yeah, those were 2 big drops.
When they went back to him, he kind of he clicked it.
He still managed to get, I think, 3 or 4 first downs. So he definitely contributed and helped those.
At the very
3 receptions for 48 yards. It's not the best.
They were all at the very end. Yeah, it was. They were. Listen, I promise you, I'm not complaining about anything. Anything. Okay?
Are we going to safety?
How about that? How about that?
Win by a safety. That's all we said. Win by a safety.
Yeah, we did. We cracked jokes about the safety. So yeah, I mean, listen, this is a memorable day that we will talk about for years. This was epic. This was a beatdown. I love playing Philly in the playoffs. I really do.
There's probably a time where you didn't say that, Rick.
There was definitely a time I did not say that. But remember, I was at the very first Buccaneers playoff game.
I know my history, so I know that you know the pain of Philadelphia. So this probably is a very sweet moment. And we've retired the vet, and we retired a vet today.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Nice. But this was, oh my gosh, this was perfect. I mean, I did not see nobody. Remember the conversations? I don't want to go to the playoffs because, we're gonna go to the playoffs and get embarrassed in the first round again. We really need to fire Bowles. Baker's not the guy. Yeah. Oops.
And to come back to like the shit that we've gone through this year, 82 million behind minus cap, having a hit on every single draft pick. Well, not every single draft, but most of our draft picks. Taking a guy who a lot of people said is turnover prone, who is the white Jameis Winston, was a good a comment that a lot of people used to make about him when he was in Cleveland, who looked washed up, and taking a rookie OC was some risky moves by Bowles, and it's all paid off in dividends at the end. So
and now next week we basically have, in essence,
the revenge tour. That's what this is going to be.
It's kind of a Baker Mayfield against Baker Mayfield. I mean, because Jared Goff is a discarded Ram. I mean,
he only took him to a Super Bowl and went, "Now we need better than you."
Right. So I think it's kind of funny. I mean, I am looking forward to next week's game. It's going to be a whole different game, and anybody who thinks it's going to be like this.
No, Detroit's much more complete. They have much more offensive weapons. They're just as healthy as we are. It'll be a tough game.
But I mean, it
I can't wait to see Carter Brantley's face because he predicted the Buccaneers would lose.
And
you're on a book show. Never predict the Buccaneers to lose. Don't do it. It's not good juju. Maybe we bring him on.
Prop to AJ, who practically got the score right.
He predicted. He didn't get it bang on, but he got what he was close. He
was close on the score. So major props to AJ for basically getting the score right, even, and just calling this game. I mean, he really did. Listen. Here's what I got wrong. I said, you're not going to go out there and all of a sudden becoming a passing team. You are what you are.
Me and AJ got that right too. We were like, you can set up the pass with the run, but they still ran the ball, and in the fourth quarter, they couldn't really stop it.
No, so and that's always the case. Yeah.
They still established the run in their own way, and it was just fun to watch, to see a load of Buccaneers get the ball that weren't the big names of the Buccaneers, that made some of the key plays for this team. We got a touchdown from Dave Moore, we got a touchdown by Trey Palmer.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin has been a little bit stingy when it comes to the touchdown line. He gets himself one. It was just a great day to be a Buccaneers fan.
Yeah. And he did a good job spreading the ball around. He's going to have to do that next week, but he's going to have to eliminate some of the throws that he had this week. He lost the underlying linebacker twice. That should have been probably an interception if they had a better defense. But at the end of the day, though, those mistakes were overcome by the other things that they had going on.
Yeah, this was not a game that I'm going to look at and be like, yeah, Baker had a hard time recognizing the defense, but he was all over this game. He had a great game. He did.
I mean, you look at those drops. This game's a very, very different game.
If they didn't drop those passes, oh my God, what was the final score? I mean,
50 plus.
Right. So you've got to look at this and just be like, man, everything about this. I mean, we had a good day. We had a really good day.
We had a great day.
Yeah.
I mean, to cap off the season the way we did, I think, even if we don't advance to the next, the championship game, I am so proud of these Bucs and how they battled. And this is experience for a lot of these young guys. We're one of the youngest teams in the NFL. I don't know. We're not the youngest right now. I believe it's someone else.
Right.
I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but we're one of the one of the youngest teams in the NFL. Yeah. And that could change next year once we do the draft again. So you never know.
You have money to play with the cap space being alleviated, with Tom Brady being off the rolls now. And now, Jason gets to cook in the offseason, and we know he does. And imagine if he hits as well on this next draft as he has on the previous one.
Or at least comes close.
Even close. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't even have to hit as hard.
Then he can go get some free agents.
Absolutely.
He does very well in that lower round. He always has one real lower round guy and then about an undrafted rookie that just becomes somebody. Not straight away, not always straight away. The Christian Isian thing is really surprising. He was that good that quick. Yeah. He has kind of simmered down into averaged out a little bit more, but that's fine. Right. The slot corners don't usually make that much of a name for themselves straight away. It takes a little bit. Safety.
I gotta laugh though. You heard Belichick interviewed with the Falcons.
Yeah,
how is that? What
he wants to be on the other side of
interview
23 to fucking 3.
This is one of the funniest things he interviewed. What was that interview like? So, Bill, tell me about your qualifications.
Can you imagine if I'm like, you could have had
your qualifications.
And then your fucking ass came along.
28-3. I mean,
get the fuck out of my office.
Qualifications 28-3.
Maybe that's all he did. He just turned around and went, so, Bill, what do you think you can bring to the team that not any other coach can? I went, 28-3 baby.
Right. I mean,
he wouldn't say baby. That's more of a hit it with the hoodie.
Right.
Gritted teeth and gone
28-3. 28-3. Yeah, I mean,
there's some gum on my shoe.
It's just funny to me that he interviewed. How do you, if you're Bill Belichick, how do you interview? You just walk in with rings. I mean, seriously, yes. Seriously, what is somebody going to ask him? So, what do you think you can do for this team? Are you kidding me? I mean, right. So anyway, I just thought that was funny. But the reason I brought it up, there was a reason, believe it or not, is now we know we're settled with Bowles. Now we know we're not going to hear any more crap about Fire Bowles. We're not going to
a lot of people said he had to win this game. Not only did he win this game, he routed this game. So it's not like you can turn around and go, but you'd be surprised. I know you got your show, and I know you have your thing of the stupid shit that Bucs fans say. Now is the time to go scraping.
No, it already happened. It already happened.
You've done your homework.
Yeah,
There's going to be people saying shit like, but he needs to win next
should
week.
fire him. We still
yeah. We need to win next week. One game doesn't mean anything. We need to win next week. We need to win next week. Oh, we only won because
the second he won a shot at the playoffs, the second we were in the playoffs, there was no, you can go back and look that he was not going to be fired.
Yep.
Had he lost to the Panthers, there may have been some questions.
Well,
I agree.
Yeah.
You have to evaluate that and go, come on, man. You against one of the worst teams in football.
Right.
How you can't let that happen. Like this roster is too talented to lose to that. You need to have them more prepared than that. And they did the job that they needed to do. It wasn't the prettiest job on the planet, but a win, like we say, a win's a win. And I tell you what, that shutout in itself is harder to do than most people think. Because all it takes is a touchdown and a field goal, and it's over. Like
all it takes is one player who's not as good as Antoine Winfield.
Right there, you go. There you go.
Straight up facts.
Yeah. And he didn't even have some sort of a standout game.
He did his thing. He wasn't amazing. He was just good.
Yeah, Carlton Davis had a great game.
Carlton Davis had a great game. If that guy could catch, that guy would walk away with so many picks.
Yeah, he was
only someone could get that boy some stickum.
Yeah. I was just
the amount of times you see balls just go straight through his hands. Go, oh my god!
How hilarious, though. I mean, just watching this game, sitting there, you knew it was a special night when they took the 3 points off the board for the field goal. Yeah, they took the 3 points off the board and ended up with nothing. It was like, way to go, Zion McCollum.
2 fourth downs they tried and they failed.
Yeah.
And one of them was push, which was great. So that was always the one that we wanted to do.
That was hilarious, even though, look, we got away with there were a few penalties we got away with today.
But so did they. They got away with a couple too.
Yeah. But
I'd say Hurts was already laid perpendicular to the end zone before he had his hand in his helmet. Yeah, we got away with the call. They should have called it there. But at the same time, they had stopped the push anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Nick Sirianni's face before, the confidence he had when he was like, "We're going for it," versus how he looked afterwards was just night and day different.
Because you look at that game against the Buccaneers on 4th down, 3rd downs, 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s, they converted on a regular rate against our defense.
Yeah.
And then they start to add I think we were one of the first teams they start to add the wrinkle where they would run a pass off it as well.
Yeah.
And all the other crazy shit they decided to do later on.
We truly blitzed like we did in that Super Bowl game. I mean, I swear there were people like dropping from the sky cam. I mean, they were just like, they were everywhere. They were just, I mean, it was crazy. It was like defenders are rappelling on the field. It was
who knows, maybe this is Bowles' philosophy going, like when he's in the playoffs it's win or die, when it's in the regular season it's just trying to survive
there. Yeah, like Brady.
Maybe I mean, obviously I'm not part of that room, but
right,
all I can say is there's some food to fork to that, because that was way more aggressive than he's played pretty much in any game I've seen this year.
Yeah,
way more aggressive.
Yeah.
And I thought he would back off more when he goes up against good teams, because that's what always seemed to be the formula. When he was going against good teams with good quarterbacks, he kind of backed off a little bit more.
Yep.
But maybe the guys in coverage are starting to show a little bit more. But please, for the love of God, on field goals, can we take number 27 out?
Zion McCollum.
Keep him away from field goals.
His one penalty helped us.
I know. His one penalty. Yeah. I know. Wow. That's when I knew.
Don't get me wrong. That did generally help us, and I'm okay with that. But the actual play in itself, you're like, oh,
yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah. No, he had.
That being said, it did help us.
He had both a very good game and a bad game. Zion McCollum did, but
he played a little bit of slot as well. I noticed.
Yeah. We look, and there's anybody who has anything to complain about, something's wrong. I mean,
I'd like to see the snap counts. I want to see what the KJ Britt versus Devin White snap count looked like.
Ooh, that's actually a good question, because I did not see Devin White like almost
I saw plenty of Devin White. It's just, I think if someone asked me like off the cuff, where would you put it? I'd say it's 50-50.
You think so?
Off the cuff, I would say so. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. They don't have it listed.
I think the problem with that is, and probably the only reason I think that is, KJ Britt was way more quiet, except for the tush push, whereas Devin White's quite a loud player, so you see him bouncing around anytime anyone makes a play. Where KJ Britt is more Levante David-esque in the sense of he'll just line up. He'll enjoy, but if he makes the play. But other than that, he'll probably just line up and get ready for the next play. Whereas Devin White was bouncing around, riding a pretend horse and all sorts of shit.
It's really funny. Get this. It's really funny. Who was our leading tackler?
If I had to guess,
not somebody who I thought it was. It's Jamal Dean.
Yeah, it is who it is.
Which I didn't think he tackled that much, but clearly he did.
Yeah,
probably.
And he doubled up. He had 10 total tackles, and the next guy down was Levante, had 5.
Damn.
I mean, everybody's got tackles. Everybody was in on this. I mean.
No, Sebastian Dennis though. He didn't play. Nor did D. Delaney. That's
he even got a tackle. Yeah, and Anthony Nelson had 1.
Here's a crazy one for you. I'm going off the Google stats, right? So
yeah.
Whatever other platforms may are available, but I honestly, Devin. Oh yeah, there he is. Sorry, it took me a minute. Devin White has 2 assist tackles. That's it.
Yeah.
KJ Britt has 3 assist tackles. Levante David has 5 solo tackles. That's how good Levante David is, and that's why people aren't sold on Devin White. Is because he's not the second coming of Levante David.
No, and 2 of those Levantes were tackles for loss. So
yeah. Now Devin White is I don't know,
a conundrum.
Yeah, he's
explosive.
Quan Alexander plus.
Yeah, there you go. He is Quan. And where's Quan?
Is he still playing? I don't
know. He's on the couch. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where he's at.
I mean, definitely on the couch.
By the way, how'd the Saints do today?
Oh,
that's exactly what I'm going to send the head coach of my team.
Someone said we're playing on borrowed time, and I said, well, there's some Saints players whose careers on borrowed time at this point too, and they keep talking shit. So
yep. Yep. Well, it looks like what's his name? Mike Evans, Marshawn Lattimore. He's gone. It looks like so. 1 down now. Now, if we can just get rid of Cam Jordan.
Quan Alexander played today.
He did.
The Steelers.
Did he have any tackles? I mean, did he actually?
I haven't looked at their game because I've been at work, so I haven't a snootful. But I'll hit his stats right now, and it should be up there. So
I can pull it up. Don't worry about it. I got it.
Yeah, he's in, and he did actually pretty decent. Just
really.
They played the. No, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong side. Maybe not.
Okay.
So I saw 40. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I'm pulling up the stats. He Quan.
I don't know if he actually played. He could be injured. I don't know.
I don't see him listed in the stats.
Maybe they cut him.
He didn't get a tackle. I can tell you that if he's on the Steelers.
Here we go. Steelers in November 14th. Steelers put Quan Alexander on injured reserve.
Okay.
So he was playing.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Okay.
But he was. I think he was a starter by looking at his stats this year.
Okay.
Let's have a look. Steelers, 41 combined tackles, 9 assists, 1 sack, 1 INT. That looks like someone who started and then didn't finish.
Yeah. Let's just have a little fantasy moment. If we win next week, if the Packers win, we got the NFC Championship game in Tampa.
That's true.
That
would be great.
That'd be cool. But not only that, if the 49ers do win and we win, it's the revenge tour of the regular season.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you are correct.
It's like second shots, boys. Second shots.
Yeah, and AJ was right about give Bowles 2 shots at one team and let's see what happens.
He has got to have it coming up good.
I've given AJ so much crap this year. I really have.
Huh? One of the routes that Dave Moore scored on was a crossing route.
Yeah.
AJ sat there with a box of Kleenex, just finished.
Yeah. So I mean, it just I got to give AJ props, man. He hit like on everything today. He really did.
His bingo card came up good.
Yeah.
He did really. His Buccaneer bingo did really fucking well. But hey, we had Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, in town as well. That was cool.
Yeah.
So Aaron Judge.
Yeah, Judge
was a Bucs fan.
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect him to be a Judge. I assumed he'd be a Giants or Jets or what have you. But that's cool.
He's a Yankee. Doesn't that make him a default Cowboys fan?
Not when they lost.
How are they doing?
They're on the Cubs too.
Yes. It's a beautiful thing. You remember, by the way, all the conversations about how the NFC South sucks and the NFC North is so great?
Yeah.
So all teams in the NFC North are out of the playoffs.
How'd that work out?
Yep.
So technically the NFC North is probably the best conference right now because they've still got 2 in the playoffs.
The NFC North?
You mean AFC?
Oh, no.
NFC North.
Green Bay and Detroit. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's mad when you think about it, but
yeah. No.
At the end of the day, all that matters is we did what we needed to do. Bowles, I saw him smile for the first time. I didn't know he had teeth. It was great. I'll tell you what, that was just fun to watch. It was nerve-wracking to begin with because it did get to a point where they started to get a bit of momentum.
Halftime.
Yeah. And when we knocked them out, I was like, we need to score here because that will finish it. And we didn't. And then we again and again. I was like, oh my. It was just getting to that. Oh, I loved it though. This is why it's fun being a Bucs fan. This is why we like watching football because even their team, until it got to the fourth quarter, they were in the conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of this game. That's why I say that the Carolina win isn't as negative as you think. Do you know how hard it is to win holding a team to 9 points to 0 when all they have to do is score a touchdown and a field goal and they win the game?
You remember, Slick, about a week ago, we had this conversation where people were saying, we barely beat the Saints and the Saints suck. How are we going to have any chance? And we kept saying this exact phrase. You and I kept saying, you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know how it's going to turn out.
Did anyone see Green Bay doing what they did?
Right. And you can never use the Saints as an example because the Saints hate us. As much as their fans want to sit there and go, oh, you're not our rival. Bullshit.
Oh, they can't say that because you can't have a fucking disco in the fucking locker room after you beat the team, and you don't do that for anybody else. You definitely think that's a rivalry. Otherwise, you'd just be like,
I don't see Cam talking about it.
We beat the shitty Bucs and move on. But no, you go in there and you're doing the stanky leg dances, and there's fucking lights go, and there's smoke machines go, and there's head coaches go. You know what I mean? You can't turn around and say it's not a rivalry by acting like it's a rivalry.
But I will say that according to the fans really have a hatred for the Falcons. They genuinely. I think
their rivalry goes further back. I think it's more dated.
Yes,
but I think we're the new kids on the block because we're punching it up, and we've been successful when we've punched up.
Yep. I think if you pulled a Twitter analysis, I bet you they talk more about the Buccaneers than they do the Falcons, and they talk about us more when they're not even playing.
Well, I'm sure they talk about us more because
we're engaging them.
We're more relevant.
Well, and no, not just that. It's what's he going to say about the Falcons right now? I mean, there is more to talk about. We had Brady. There's just more to talk about when it comes to the Bucs.
Sure. And they got them with Brady. They got the rub of the green, pretty much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they did well, and that's their kind of crowning achievement. Is that Brady was a Buccaneer. He went 2-4.
That's right.
What's that?
He retired Breeze.
Oh yeah, against them. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. He went. If you include playoffs, he went 3-4.
3-4. Yep.
To the playoff win.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because we lost We got swept by them.
We got swept them 2 years in a row, and then we won. We swept them, and we also won the playoff in the Super Bowl season. So it does.
By the freaking way, Tom Brady's gone, and we're better. So
we are better. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying we're better because we haven't won a Super Bowl yet, but you know what I'm saying.
No, we're better than we were last year.
For sure.
I think that has more to do with the offensive coordinator than it does the quarterback.
I don't agree.
Know. I genuinely don't know. And that's my honest opinion, because we could run the football fine with and the scheme didn't change. The scheme really didn't change that much. The play calling did.
We had a pocket passer that was afraid to step into the pocket.
Baker does bring a different dimension. And
here he comes. Get him in here. I hold
AJ?
on. Yeah, get him in here. Get him in here, because I think I owe this guy some props.
You got the cigar. Yes.
Yeah, dude, I owe you props. You nailed it.
Cheers, brother.
Nailed it today. So,
all right, gentlemen, I will have to go in about 9 minutes because I have to go on school run, and it's about 5:30 in the morning.
No problem.
So I will let one of you guys continue the deal. Whoever can press end. Can anyone press end?
Well, I'm gonna have to go too. No, if you press end, the whole thing ends.
Yeah, no. But can anyone else press end?
I'll press end on this one.
Okay, cool. So because AJ left during the pregame show, and I pressed end, so I just didn't want to leave and then leave it open, and everyone's like, I don't know, and it's just gonna be a blank screen for 10 hours, or until someone goes, "What the fuck's going on? We're still going."
And I gotta go.
All four of us could leave afterwards if you just hang the score up for everybody to look at.
Yeah,
exactly. That's all we gotta do. We got a lot of things to talk about, because one, I will be there tomorrow for Bucks Live.
Okay.
If you have something,
I've heard this before.
I know, but this time I'm definitely gonna be there. Last time, but tomorrow.
Unfortunately, I'm in redundancy meetings. I don't actually have a job in 45 days, so.
Oh wow! Okay.
Well,
yeah, so I have to go. I have to be at work early the next day for redundancy meetings to find out what the nuts and bolts of it all look like. So I finish 12 p.m., 12 a.m., which essentially is for you guys 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So I'm usually trying to go to bed around about 8.
Well, first of all, we just want to give thanks to your commitment, staying up these hours.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We love it, man. You know what I'm saying? All proud to you. You know what I mean? But look,
I'm working, AJ. I'm working. It's getting bigger. It's getting bigger, brother.
I
measured today, 13 inches.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, because we.
It's going up. It's going up, brother.
We smoked that Philly ass team. The hell with the cheesesteaks again. Rick, you're right.
You can eat cheesesteaks now, brother.
That's right, but Rick, again. A win is a win. 37-10 or 3-0. The Buccaneers got it done.
Yeah,
hey, we got safety. We could have gone 2-0.
Yeah, I was just happy that the Bucks, they got aggressive. They made Hurts look bad.
Yeah.
Oh man, that boy was spending more time looking at the floor. What's your first read? The floor.
Yeah.
Yes. And
that is funny that you said that, AJ, because I said 37-10. Or 3-0, I don't care, and it was almost 37-10.
You damn right, and I predicted. I said 34-17. So shit, I gave the Eagles offense a little too much credit.
Let's say the Buccaneers could have popped over a field goal just to bump that score line up a little bit more, couldn't they? They could have got the 35.
Yeah.
Look, Sirianni might get fired after that Godwin touchdown. After that, I was like, they gave up.
Here's the thing I don't understand about Matt Patricia. He wears that fucking pencil behind his ear. He does know that his play call sheet is laminated. He can't write on it. He's not writing on anything. But he's got that fucking pencil right there, and I'm like, you play like everyone else has a marker pen. They have they have a marker pen, permanent marker. This motherfucker's got a pencil. That's how bad they are. On defense, is that their fucking DC has got a fucking pencil and he holds the laminated call sheet.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. Patricia's not good, so this is why again, Sirianni. I don't know. It's like, man, I get it. Desperate times calls for desperate measures, but Buck Salty. I kept calling it. I kept saying, if the Bucks stay aggressive on both sides, Rick,
Yeah.
I figured the
Bucs. No, you got this whole game right. You got the whole game right. The whole darn game. Trey, the only thing I got right was I said our number 3 receivers were going to have a big game. That it wasn't going to be.
You called Palmer. Palmer went off, and look, Bradbury. He made Bradbury look awful.
Yeah, well, it was Palmer and David Moore. It was both.
They both, but they took advantage. And remember, the passing set up the run. And here's the thing: it left, in a way, it kept Rachaad White and them healthier, because when they don't have to run it between the tackles, the passing game is setting it up. Because let me tell you something, Philly was in fear of our passing game.
Yeah,
they were in fear, and Otten was killing. Remember earlier? I said
you called that too. You called that too. No, there was everything, man.
I've got an idea for the show. Right. So you know how we make predictions?
Let's
do the predictions. Let's do the Buccaneers bingo card. You've got to call 4 things that will happen in the game. And whoever gets it wins the bingo of this year, because I think AJ won today.
Oh, AJ won.
I got Otten. I will live off Otten.
Yeah.
I got Otten and Levante David. That's it.
Yeah.
This gentleman.
No, he
in the bottom corner absolutely fucking nailed it to town and back.
Yeah.
Look,
and again.
At the end of the day, I just wanted us to win, but
for sure. But it feels good, brother.
It feels good because this is the team that you wanted to put away, because when we got aggressive, the more that we were aggressive, the Eagles never were in sync. They never were in sync. You could see the frustration on their side, and I'm gonna say this, Rick. I think by the third quarter, they kind of gave up.
I agree with that. Yeah. I'll bet they brought their golf clubs with them to Florida. I mean, it was they just seemed The fact when Jalen Hurts took that safety, I mean, when he held onto the ball that long, and ran that far,
when he tried to throw it under his own ass, I'm like, are you really going to try and get away with?
And then he started complaining. No, that wasn't an intentional grab. Well, what?
But it took for a minute. I completely even faced the rules. I went, "They're just going to let him get away with throwing the ball. That's got to be intentional grounding." Off the top of my head, I couldn't remember that intentional grounding was a fucking safety. And I'm a fucking coach. I'm so wrapped up in the moment. Like, are they really going to let him get away with fucking throwing the ball as he's falling on his ass? Like that can't be allowed.
No, I was sitting there like this. I was sitting there on the couch.
Same here. I was at the bar doing this.
I think we all were.
When he held the ball, I said, "Oh God!" I'm like, "They're not showing up."
I couldn't believe he kept holding it. I couldn't believe it.
No, well, at this point, I think Hurts was scared to run because he actually didn't want to get lit up. When Levante hit him, and there
was much to run. There was nowhere to run. They plugged everything.
And again, Rick, you called it. We said this about Bowles. Look at how he adjusted so well. And his disguises of the blitzes, his disguises of the schemes tricked Hurts so bad. You could see Hurts was like, what the fuck are they doing?
Well, there were so many people coming so fast. You missed it, AJ. I said it was like they were rappelling in. They were coming from everywhere. They were dropping from the sky. They were
like, here, have one from the B gap. Here, have one from the A gap.
I want to ask Buck Salty on this one. Buck Salty, I want to ask everybody, but I want to start with you first, and everybody in order. Buck Salty, when did you feel when you was watching this game? You was like, "Oh shit, the Bucks actually got this. They gonna win this thing."
So I think it had to be somewhere around the third quarter. You could start to see the despair, and I think I talked about it. I definitely sent out a tweet there in the first quarter that this offensive game plan was to put points on the board quickly, because the entire Philly offense runs around grinding a defense with the run game to open up the passing game with Hurts.
Yes, they do.
And by putting up the points, they're not designed, and they've never been in a position where they had to come back from such a large deficit. Now, granted, we didn't have that big of a deficit, but it felt that way as each Buccaneers drive put up points, which was something we haven't done either, even though we still failed at getting that touchdown on the first opening drive. Mm-hmm. And so when we came into the second half and we got that initial stop and we were back to driving again, I was like, this just feels different. Usually I'm sitting back going, we can't screw this up. We can't get soft. They're going to come back. But it didn't feel that way in the third quarter.
It did not. How about you, Slick?
I'd say it's deep into it was about midsection of the third quarter, and I was like, "Fuck, we've actually got it." I think it was that next touchdown that it was like a striker-rich touchdown. I can't remember who got it. I think it might have been Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer's touchdown was like, we got this.
Yeah. What about you, Rick?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, let me say this: when we stopped them on the opening drive of the second half, I felt like. Because they didn't even come close. It felt exactly like the first half. Like maybe they're going to stumble into a few more points, but we are okay. I mean, I don't feel like totally at ease, but this looks good.
It did look good.
You know, and then, when we scored our first points of the second half, it felt done. And the safety was just when the safety happened, it was like, all right.
Can I give y'all the theme in a nutshell? This was the Bucs and the Eagles game this entire time. Look at this, fellas. That's exactly how Hurts felt. He was like, oh, damn. He was so under duress.
And we didn't always get home very often. We really didn't get home that often, but the pressure was enough to just make him throw shit ball.
Yeah, well, he didn't get home.
He threw to check downs because the deep shit was covered really well. So he went to the check downs, and then someone just came down and just laid them the fuck out.
Yep. We didn't get home, but we were. I mean, he was getting rid of the ball really fast, and he had no choice. And there was just no. Remember what I kept saying about the problem with Brady at the end was that routes couldn't develop. Because he was getting rid of the ball so fast, there was no time for routes to develop. It's exactly what happened to them today. I mean, you couldn't. There was nothing. And when Julio Jones got hurt, it was like, and now the number 2 receiver is, the water boy that they just suited up. I mean, it just got to a point where it was like, wow, this is if you're an Eagles fan, we were there last year. Just this game end.
We were there last year. Exactly. Yeah. We were in the same spot where it just looked like a pitiful, but at the end of the day, to hell with the Eagles because they talk too much shit. Even for the ones that were just that's my thing about the Eagles. Well, we're gonna find a way because you're Tampa. What the fuck that's supposed to mean? You mean NFC South champs? You mean the same team?
I think you need to go back on that radio show, Rick.
Yes, Rick, that was beautiful. He was like, yeah, guys.
I love it though, because you were like kind of going, guys, it ain't that bad.
I said it. No, I did it on purpose. I actually did it on purpose. I called him and I said, I knew if I came in too strong, they would cut me off the air right away.
Yeah.
So I came in, I tried to come in and I was like, I'm going to set him up and make him argue that the Eagles are bad by saying, nah, it's really not that bad. Yes, it's that bad. And then he was going to start going off and I was say, yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
And you just reeled that big fish in. You reeled that Philly fish in. It was beautiful. It was honestly, it was. I would say it was the highlight of my day, but we all know what the highlight of my day is.
Oh yeah, right? No, I was going to say no.
But that was definitely a nice little touch because it was so finesse where you just were like, oh, it's not that bad. I'm a Bucs fan. And we think the sky's fucking falling down, and we don't think it's that bad.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but it's that bad now. Our experiences are
different.
And he
started arguing with me about how bad the Eagles are, and it was like,
he went, yeah, you're right. You're shit. Yeah. He went, I'm not having this. I'm not having banter from a Bucs fan. It's like, dude, you are literally arguing with somebody how bad your team is.
Yes. Yeah, it was hilarious.
Like he made you look a fucking fool on national radio.
Yes, we did.
That's how bad it is.
Rick, that was beautiful. And again, that's why I kept telling folks, this is in Bucs Salty. Like for people who've also been in the game, when your team is spiraling like that, you can't limp your way into the playoffs, especially if that's not how things work. If you look at it, that's what happened to the Bucs last year when we limped into the playoffs. We got our asses kicked because there was no fire, there was no passion.
Well, people said we limped in this year.
Rick called it. The Bucs had fun this year. When you have fun, your team can go, okay, guys. I told people this. This is why I kept saying, Rick, when it came to the Saints in the Panthers game, I just knew in my bones that Canales was like, all right, guys, we're going to come out haymaker style. We cannot continue to do this. And the simple fact, we all said this, but that extra day, I think that really did a lot for Baker.
No doubt.
That extra day gave him.
When I saw we had a Monday game, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wasn't. I was like, shit.
Yeah, Slick. I feel bad for Slick, but
hey, I'll take the day off because it came with a win.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck how much holiday I butcher.
Yes. That you can't tell me that didn't play a factor, because if you look at how Baker was looking, he was smooth. He was,
he took some lick. He still got up, and he wasn't limping. He wasn't this. It wasn't that. So I think they might have downplayed how bad his injury really was.
Well, I think they made it
questionable. I was like, fuck
off. This year they made it big. Yeah, this week they made it sound bigger than it was by saying, he's questionable.
When I saw questionable, I was like, fuck off. Yeah. He's playing.
They showed him at practice running out there full speed, throwing deep, and all this other stuff, and I was like,
my favorite one I saw, it was the Panthers game. Someone got a video of him throwing balls, and it was like to coaches and other quarterbacks in like a kind of walkthrough scenario, and they're like, look, he can only throw the ball this many yards. It's like, oh my god, seriously, you're taking that, because he kind of goes, and he doesn't put no zip on it. There's no effort in it, and it's like, because it's a walk. It's a walk through with fucking coaches playing defensive players and quarterbacks playing other quarterbacks playing wide receiver. Stop it right fucking there.
Right. Hey guys, I gotta run.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, I'm gonna run with you as well, guys. We're gonna talk tomorrow, but
let's finish it all here because I gotta go too. So
yeah, as always, I'll let you guys finish it off. You can close it down, Slick. But Buck Salty, thank you for joining us again as well, my man. Look, if you're in the area, man, look, you come out here to the DC area. The first 2 rounds is on me. Hell, maybe 3. Because
you're gonna make me come to the DC.
I might take you up on this one.
Wow, you keep free.
I might take you up on this one. I had to travel this weekend, so I couldn't go anywhere. I got home like a couple hours before the game.
Turn me on with a good time, AJ.
It's beautiful over here because look, people hate the Eagles over here too. So you had Commander fans coming in here talking shit to Eagles.
Commodore fans.
Like one lady was walking out, she was an Eagle fan, bless her heart. And one guy was like, fuck your team, exactly. Get out of here. And she was like, then she said, weren't you guys not in the playoffs? She said, it's all right. Take a seat with us now.
I had an Eagles fan come into my job today wearing Eagles gear, and I just looked and I went, oh no. And I talked a little trash, and I said, listen, I'm not gonna say good luck tonight, but I will say I hope you have some fun.
You're gonna walk into work with your dick swinging.
Yeah. I hope you have some fun. This is so low key disrespectful. I love it. I hope you have some fun.
But I hope you have some fun. And one of the guys at work is a huge Detroit Lions fan. So this.
Look, I'm telling you this right now. Another hot take. We're gonna beat the brakes off the Detroit Lions.
It's a revenge series.
You called it.
You know why? Detroit is going to be on their asses high and mighty, and the Bucks are going to say, hold my beer and walk the fucking plank, because Detroit, they exposed a lot of things today against the Rams. If I'm Canales, I'm going in the factory and going, oh yeah, they can't stop a nosebleed in the secondary.
We're on house money. We're on house money. We can just cut loose and play, and
this is all about having fun.
Why not us?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, the greatest quote is, "You don't know."
That's right. You don't know.
I will let you guys take care of yourself. I'm going to be out too, but hell of a win, guys. Buck Salty, Rick Hughes, Go Slick. You guys are amazing, and as always, fellas, go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Take care of yourself, fellas.
Go Bucks.
See you tomorrow, guys. See you tomorrow.
Go Bucks.
Yep.
See you tomorrow.
See you guys.
I will see y'all later too. It was good talking to y'all again.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get you back on again. We'll be celebrating and celebrating on some Lions fans next week. So we'll see how that goes. But guys, thanks for coming on. Much appreciated, Rick. I hope if I can't I'll try and watch something of your show. I do apologize.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Listen, man, you do what you got to do. Just you're here for the game, and that's what we're here for anyway, man.
Cheers, brother. Enjoy.
Go Bucks. Go Bucks. Go Bucks.
Okay, guys, that's the end of the post-game show. Longer than normal, but for reasons that had to be said. This Buccaneer team has just routed the Philadelphia Eagles. Hey, back in 2002, they retired the vet. This year, they retired a vet. Quite the same. Still has connotations, seeing as he's the NFL love child. Bucs fans, see you next week. And all those you going, I don't know, and I don't know, and I don't know if this team's good enough. This team's good enough. This team just won a playoff game. They routed a team that is considered very, very good. And yes, they fell off the wagon towards the end. And that's how you're going to pick this up. And you're going to turn around, well, they didn't do a great job again. It's only one terrible team. Doesn't matter. They won a playoff game. That is the minimum expectation. Minimum expectation of a playoff team is to win your first playoff game. Minimum. I would personally say the minimum expectation is not to get embarrassed in a playoff game. Nick Sirianni, Pastrami, Pepperoni did not do that. What the fuck is it with their fucking Italian flag on their fucking thing? They're not Italian, they're American. They weren't born in Italy. Their mom and dad aren't Italian. Their grandmothers probably aren't fucking Italian. Their great-grandparents aren't probably fucking Italian. This descended on bullshit is fucking weird. Stop it. My child, I'm half German, half English. I was born in Germany. My mum's German. Was raised a little bit in Germany. Met a lot of my German family. Spent time with my German family. My daughter and son are half German. A quarter German. They're probably more fucking German than Sirianni's fucking Italian. They don't need a fucking German flag on their fucking school uniform. Stop it. It's embarrassing. Move the fuck on. They're American. My kids are British. Let's go. Guys, Bucs fans, this has been fun. Let's keep the good times going. Let's not get negatives. Let's try to find the negatives in this. The negatives are we can do better. The negatives aren't that we are shit. The negatives are that we can do better. We're ready. We've already overachieved so damn much you guys don't even know it. 82 mil against the cap. With a journeyman quarterback that everyone thought was shit. On a team that everyone guessed would win 2 to 5 games. Is now 9 games, 10-game wins. In a playoff game against a team that won 11 games. A team that beat us in the regular season. That's who this Buccaneers team is. And people are talking about throwing away the coaching staff. For what? For who? Whoever you got coming in better be way better than that. And you can't prove it. You got nothing to prove that the offensive coordinator of this team or the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator, you have nothing except that you think. I want to go with real. Right now, my head coach just won us a playoff game and our second division championship, conference championship, division championship, and we're fighting, and he did it all with odds against him. I'll take that. We weren't supposed to be good this year. We have higher expectations because we're Bucs fans. We always want to win. We always think our team's good. We probably thought we were going to the playoffs when we drafted James Winston. Probably thought we were going to the playoffs the year after that. Probably thought we were going to the playoffs the year after that. But we didn't, and we didn't, and we didn't, and we didn't. When Tom Brady came along, we went to the playoffs. We won the Super Bowl. Tom Brady came to the playoffs, and we dominated. We didn't go to the Super Bowl, but we had a solid playoff run. Went to the playoffs, won our division. This is where we are, guys. Get used to it. Not always going to be the pretty thing that we've always had. I'll give you this. Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3. Go Bucs!